Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Inspired Sovereignty Radio. So, how's everybody doing? How are you doing? Whenever you're listening to this and wherever on this gorgeous planet that you are right now. Wow, wow, wow. Just wow that we are all in this together, and I think it's really clear to all of us by now that we truly are in a transformation of humanity, and that we truly are in a great awakening of consciousness, and that we truly have been asleep. Even those of us that have been more awake for a long time, we have all still been asleep to so much of what is actually real. And as we look around us and listen around us, we can see and hear and sense and feel that there is so much crumbling. And truly, like, all that is not in alignment with good and God, and all that is not truly in service of we the people, it is rapidly dissolving and collapsing. And yeah, wow to everything that is changing. Wow to everything. I don't talk about news so much anymore because it's so continuous. It's such a flood of so much happening, and then I really don't I think that a lot of it is also staged and not real. So at this point, I really don't know what to talk about in regards to what is happening, in the tiny minutia of everything. I feel much more called to hold space in 5D for us, and to create, again, to keep creating these conversations that are going to help us wake up, help us heal, help us know ourselves, and do the good internal work that truly we are all here to do, even if we are only just beginning to realize it. So, hey, y'all, welcome back to the show. This is a solo episode just with me, myself, Ivy. You guys know that I'm a holistic practitioner and medicine woman and colon hydrotherapist, and me and my partner here, Kimberly, us as business partners, we've been having some really great conversations on this podcast and also on our Instagram lives. That a lot of that we've brought over here as podcast content because it's good content. We've been talking so much about cleansing ourselves and working with our body on that level, but really from a multidimensional perspective, so that as we are awakening, we start to become more cognizant of ourselves, and we start really understanding that our bodies are polluted by this system that we've been living in. Our bodies are polluted through living in this matrix. I'm going to say pretty much all of the symptoms that we experience in these bodies, be it anxiety, depression, attention issues, to inflammatory, autoimmune, allergic conditions, really everything. To me, in my very educated perspective here and very experienced perspective, is that most all of the issues that all of us deal with, including low immunity, is all just symptom of this world that we live in, symptoms from these systems that are in place, because those who have been in control for a long time, have wanted to keep us small and dumb and ill and not capable of reaching these heightened bandwidths of frequency that we are all moving through and into right now. So really, we've had the odds stacked against us, truly, in so many ways. And it's so important that now we begin realizing that truly, like, how our bodies are meant to be is they heal themselves. We are meant to live in alignment with this planet and nature and the seasons, and with natural and universal law. That is where our alignment comes, and that's where our true wellness and health also comes from. So we're in this place of needing to truly clean everything out of our bodies that does not belong inside of us. So we're talking about, this world of chemicals that we live in, be it through our skincare products, our food, our air, our water, our new cars, our furniture, our laminate flooring, whatever it is. This world has been created toxic intentionally, so that really it's just one more silent weapon to fight these quiet wars, as in this global war over consciousness, global war over our bodies, over information, and over our souls that we are in right now. So to truly be inspired and sovereign, hence our name, Inspired Sovereignty, is to understand our spiritual essence, to understand that we are made of both God and this planet, to understand that to be in spirit and to be integral and in our own sovereignty, that is where everything comes from. Our vitality, our wellness, our movement forward and upwards in ourselves as souls being incarnated into these bodies at this time. I hope I didn't make that too big. I hope all of that makes sense. But really, why we're having conversations about cleansing and about pooping and about healing and about drinking water. Yes, we're these holistic gals that want to get your poopers right and get your body healthy. Yes, of course, yes to that. But what it's really about is ascension. What it's really about is creating purity again in these vessels, creating alignment and balance so that these bodies can go through this metamorphosis, this transformation. You know, we are going from carbon-based bodies to silicate-based bodies because we are truly in a place of remembering ourselves and embodying ourselves on a soul level. We are truly in a place of dormant DNA because we actually have 12 strands, not 2 strands. Dormant DNA coming back online. And that is going to allow us to remember and embody our greatness, our magnificence, our holiness, our own sanctity, but as well as all of the gifts and wisdom and understanding that soul has and is. So just in case anybody needed to hear this, again, we are in a spiritual, physical, like a biological spiritual transformation happening in most every single one of us right now. Let me say every single one of us, but some people are actively choosing the path of descension instead of ascension, right? So some people, instead of raising frequency and healing, some folks are still in the place of, you know, sabotaging the spiritual journey and digressing, you know, but all of it is like, we've all got free will. We've all got free will, and we are we are in a place of needing to decide what side of the fence we're going to go on, or you know how that saying goes. But truly, we are in that crossroads where we all are being forced to make a decision. I know, forced from the most spiritual place, because this is the timeline that we're on. So are we choosing making ourselves better, making ourselves pure, making ourselves aligned and integral with universal and natural laws? Or are we going to stay distracted? Are we going to stay asleep? Are we going to keep polluting ourselves? Are we going to digress in our mind and bodies? You know, and soul, therefore, because remember, body is an extension of soul. Body is the 3D manifested form of soul. So all of this is so much greater and so much bigger than anything that we ever knew. And again, just thinking of The Matrix, the movie, right? Understanding that is so much closer to a documentary than it is to science fiction. You know, they've used so much of our own media to show us what has been happening, even though to us it's far-fetched and it's sci-fi and all of that. But anyways, guys, we are on this journey of awakening, and it is time that if you got pounds and pounds of dark stuff stuck in the body, in the colon, as well as in all the cells and tissues, when we're talking much like smaller particles of toxicity, but if we're not cleaning house in the body at this time, I really don't think that we're actively participating in this like our body and soul maybe require us to. So this podcast covers all of that type of stuff. And today, my friends, we are talking about spiritual immunity, because this is such an important topic, because like, of course, our immune systems, they are physical parts of our bodies. They are biological, physiological part of our body. It's a giant system within our body that does rely on the functioning of most all of our cells and tissues and organs. But our immune system, really, really darn important, clearly in these days that we're in. And it turns out that putting a mask on your face and not breathing appropriate oxygen, and then also possibly injecting yourself with some type of experiment that terrible companies who have massive lawsuits and humanitarian crimes behind them, and a decade's worth of that information, if you just look, the things that we're doing right now to support our immune system, it's the most ridiculous stuff. And regardless of what your own choices are, understand that, medical professional here, regardless of my dreadlocks and regardless of the casual way that I talk about poop, I'm still a medical professional. And these things are nonsensical. These things make zero sense if the desired outcome is a more robust, functional immune system. The things that we're doing are nonsensical. They are ridiculous. They make zero sense, regardless of how much maybe you want to defend them or your choices to participate in them. Whatever, it's fine. It is what it is. And when you're talking with me and when we're in conversation together, there is no judgment. No one is wrong. No one is right. But there's accuracy and there's actual science and there's actual facts. And these things that we're doing they're counterintuitive, absolutely counterintuitive. So when we're talking about our immune system, yes, it's a physical part in our body, like we were just saying, but our spiritual immunity, like our physical immunity, is also tied in with our spiritual immunity. And our physical immune system also has a more spiritual counterpart when we're talking about our immune system in the multidimensional from a multidimensional perspective. And so one day, really, we're going to go into all of the organs of the body, and we're going to talk about our organs as physical organs, but as well as spiritual organs, because what is so magnificent is that all of our organs, they also have a spiritual and soulful essence to them that is different from our other organs. And it is a magnificent download of wisdom, of body of work. And so I cannot wait to talk to you about all of that one day. But just for today, we are talking about spiritual immunity. And maybe one day we might go more in depth into the spiritual immune system. Actually, better yet here, I'm going to link in the show notes, because today we are utilizing some of the resources from energetic synthesis. So I'm going to link in the show notes a podcast episode that Lisa Renee from energetic synthesis did, and it's really on the spiritual immune system. And it's very, very high level, so it might not be for everybody, but if this body of work and what I'm talking about, if it really pulls something in you, it is definitely worth going and listening to her episode on the spiritual immune systems. But today we are talking about spiritual immunity. And again, I am utilizing some of the resources from energetic synthesis because it is such a brilliant body of work. And again, I've never come across anything at a higher level that makes more sense, So this is what we are talking about today. And I hope that this is a really, really great episode for you, that it helps you comprehend and understand yourself and what we're going through in a more expanded and more accurate way, of course. And before we get into this, friends, I just want to remind you all that we are on YouTube still, on the Inspired Sovereignty YouTube channel. I mean, as long as YouTube even exists. I really feel like YouTube will be one of the things that goes completely down, and maybe completely down forever, because of the nature of Google and how YouTube, there's a much darker side to a lot of the stuff that we utilize. And can we remove all the darkness from some things? Or if the darkness is energetically embedded within the architecture of certain platforms and things that we use, these things might just have to disappear. So I was thinking of being very committed to growing a YouTube channel, but it really feels like there might not be a necessity for that right now, and that might not be a good focus of attention. I don't know. But anyways, for now, you can still go see us on Inspired Sovereignty YouTube channel if you want to actually be like you're hanging out with me in this room right now, okay? And so if you go over and find us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. That way you are notified every time that we are putting up new ones, and it is at least every Monday. Okay, so friends, we are now talking about spiritual immunity. So when I do episodes like this, I'm doing a little bit of reading, and we're doing a lot of riffing, and we're talking about what this human experience more accurately actually is. Okay, so spiritual immunity. So to be sovereign over one's self is to be free of the control or coercion of others. And to truly have the freedom to direct one's own life requires an accurate assessment of conditions, which affords the right to apply informed consent to our individual decision making. So already think of what we're going through right now. We ought to be, if we're truly sovereign, we are free of the control or coercion of others. Everything that we see outside of ourselves, outside with what is going on right now, it is all about controlling us, and we are being coerced. We're being coerced from every direction constantly. So everything that's going on right now is a direct attack on our sovereignty. Okay, so we need to truly have the freedom to direct our own life. And this requires an accurate assessment of conditions which afford us the right to apply our informed consent to all of our individual decisions, right? And we know that informed consent means that we're not under any type of coercion or duress or control or anything that implicates our own just ability to choose. Informed consent also means that we have been given all of the information pertinent to us being able to make the best decision for ourselves. So all information available, and we have the freedom and ability to consume it so that we can make our own educated decision for ourselves. And also, informed consent relies on us having the mental capacity and wherewithal to truly make these decisions. So informed consent is everything, and it's insane that we barely have adults, and educated people and professionals, and that nobody's talking about informed consent. Right there, that's the biggest red flag. Okay, guys. So we extend that belief to include freedom of self-determination in the direction of our own consciousness, which connects with our soul and our spirit and our higher avatar intelligence, our own spiritual bodies, which form into the powerful forces of protection that form our spiritual immune system. So self-sovereignty is inherently a human right given through God, Source, and the universal laws of this reality, and they are expressed through the law of one, which describes these laws that direct the complex quantum mechanics governing the movement of consciousness throughout time and space. So ascension is a simultaneous increase of expanded consciousness that occurs when our spiritual energetic bodies connect into our physical bodies. And thus, when these higher consciousness bodies come online, as we were just talking about, they activate and amplify our spiritual immune system. So our spiritual immune system requires our personal attention and our discernment of forces and proper nourishment in order to function well. So it is the same as our physical immune system that requires nutrients and sustenance to be effective at deflecting and neutralizing negative pathogenic forces. Okay, so we're seeing again that we have this physical immune system in the body, but it is also mirrored by a spiritual immune system, a multidimensional immune system. And these two work together, and they are kind of two sides of the same coin, if you will. So when we understand that in order to physically protect ourselves, there are things that we must do to physically nourish and sustain our physical immune system on the same side or on the other side, in order to understand that we do have a spiritual immune system. And if we want to be protected of things in the spiritual realms, we must do the things that our spiritual immune system requires to be nourished and well functioning. So during the current psychological operation used for spiritual warfare against the human population, the goal of those in control has been to destroy access to spiritual knowledge or truthful information that pertains to the possibility of self-ownership that does come with the activation of our higher spiritual bodies. So, and we're also in times where it's especially concentrated phase of reclaiming our soul information and our soul intelligence and really embodying those codes within our own individual blueprint and template. So this is a highly activating time to those of us who are awake now and those who are awakening now to see the mass deceptions that we have been fed in the mainstream, as well as to those of us who are embodying the ascension template and those of us who are able to integrate these higher consciousness codes that are being imbued and anchored within us now. So essentially, our consciousness bodies and spiritual immune system are under targeted attack, as when our spirit is weakened and we are dehumanized, the conditioned masses submit without resistance to the blind obedience of the controller's orchestrated plan for installing a global government and enforcing fascist tyranny. So humanity is in a critical time of choosing the way we will evolve forward on the timelines here at a global level. The majority are unaware that all human beings have a spiritual immune system as well as a biological immune system, and that these are interdependent systems that function together to protect our living body and consciousness from foreign invaders and negative forces. Our sense of spirituality and how we perceive our relationship to our higher power is directly related to our immune system functioning and its effect upon our health and our well-being. The development of our spiritual immune system enhances our ability to cope with stress, which results in better health practices with greater overall contentment with the quality of life that we experience. Our health and sanity are connected to educating ourselves about our biological and spiritual immune systems, and not about the mass injection of mandated jabby jabs enforced by those ultimately serving tyrannical forces of a negative alien agenda. You guys know I don't talk too much openly about negative aliens, but I'm going to just say it right there because we're priming our minds to accept what is very, very soon going to be told to us. So if I ever sound like the crazy person who tells you things that are unbelievable, I'm just happy to have planted that seed regardless, okay? And I love you. Let's continue. So when we activate and connect with our heart presence and our inner spirit, exploring what is truly meaningful in our lives, this conscious participation with divinity also greatly protects human beings from the harmful onslaught of dark forces. And whether these forces are seen or unseen, known or unknown, the loving and pure heart that has the faith or direct experience that connects to divinity without intermediary is what protects us. This activates and powers up our inner spiritual immune system, repelling the darkest fears and anxieties that cloud our minds with deceptions and lies that are being spread by those in control to attempt to force submission and consent to their enslavement agendas. When we are spiritually stronger, we can sense the harmful intent and refuse to submit to immoral laws being put in place by tyrants. During this time of the dark night of the soul, which is leading humanity to a global awakening, this is a great opportunity to deeply inquire within and reclaim our inherent divinity. Expanding our consciousness to reflect upon the interconnection of all of humanity undergoing this tribulation, being aware that we must overcome our fears of survival and perceptions of death to decide what kind of world we want to live in. What kind of quality of life and freedoms do we want for our children and our grandchildren? We must clearly see the issues that humanity is facing as we move forward and then reflect upon our personal divine puzzle piece to unite with others and to help this world become a better place. So, to activate our spiritual immune system and to deflect rampant parasitic energies, knowledge that human beings are multidimensional, electromagnetic, spiritual beings with a light body that explicitly belongs to them and is enforced in natural laws is the most critical information at this time. Everything that is inside our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body belongs to us in natural law, which is the highest law. And there is strong spiritual power activated in where we consciously place our consent or our lack thereof. So let's talk discerning energetic exposures. So, to begin to connect with and activate our innate spiritual immune system, the first step is comprehending everything is conscious energy. Everything is conscious energy and intelligent, and nothing that happens is random. Okay? You hear that? Everything is consciousness energy. Everything is intelligent, and nothing happens at random. So, as an example, the genetically labbed artificial intelligence hybrid viral organism has been programmed with dark intelligence signature that will be attracted to like vibrations of other soft kill methods used as silent weapons, such as artificial intelligence signals, silent sound technology, smart dust, and nanotech created with intent to harm. And as a result, it can be used as a carrier wave for combining the effects of an assortment of seen and unseen poisons, even used as a carrier for demonic possession to lodge in the lung cavity and astral heart center of the human energy field. The organism was designed to interconnect with several layers of control infrastructures for the greater purpose of harvesting astral soul energy for the parasites and vampires of this world and other worlds, and as well to serve the agenda for manifesting the one world order timeline set into motion by the Black Suns. I know some of this goes over some of our heads, but still, this is information that we will be given more of in the future. And this is information that is indeed pertinent to what we are experiencing right now, and especially so that we can grow the ability to have more accurate perception of this world of forces that we do reside in. So, the Black Suns, this cabal group, completely owns and directs the anti human agendas behind the genetic modifications used to destroy the organic human DNA in the enforced policies of the World Health Organization, as well as in its tentacles extending into the biotechnology, pharmaceutical, and jabby jab industries. Okay, so consciousness is spiritual energy which is governed by a personal blueprint and energy signature. Our personal blueprint is our divine plan and will have unique preferences that will inform us through our personal resonances when exposed to a variety of stimulating forces that influence the consequences we will have when interacting with any of these energetic forces. The energetic exposures will inform our body if it's positive or negative for supporting our spiritual purpose at the point when we interact with them. Thus, the interaction may generate the rapid loss of life force energy, or it can increase life force circulation that can be further multiplied into greater use of that energy yield, such as through expressed creativity or cellular knowing. So, to regain our health and sanity, we must discern these energetic exposures and the consequences of them to our personal energy and our physical body, and make regular assessments to monitor our state of health and our state of well being. When we discern these differences and then make an effort to only commune with those things that help us to increase our energy flow and increase the harmony in our lifestyle, this fortifies our spiritual immune system. Okay, so you hear that. So we can all discern if something is going to be draining to us or energizing and replenishing and nourishing. And so when we keep choosing, for whatever reasons, the things that drain us, this weakens our energetic bodies. This weakens our physical body, of course, but this weakens our spiritual immune system. So the better that we become at practicing always choosing what is truly in service to us on a soulful level, on an energetic level, we create more energy, we create more momentum, and we create the harmony inside that elicits more growth and expansion in consciousness and more revival of the sacred heart. Each individual on the path of spiritual development will need to discern between these forces of closed source parasitic entropy or open source negentropy, and make a committed decision to move towards spiritual purpose and those things that multiply and circulate an abundance of life force energy. The abundant life force energy can be followed through personal resonance of the loving, heart-based messages of spirit that will guide us to increase our consciousness energy, which also reflects in the personal health, coherence, and well-being of all of us. So, when we begin to perceive ourselves as expressions of consciousness, eternal spiritual beings that hold the potential of unlocking the unlimited reality of our true nature, we begin to reclaim our personal power and transform ourselves to express our real divine purpose, which changes our lives and changes the world. So, the foundation of healing truly is ascension, okay? So we heal because ascension, and we heal. We heal because of ascension, and we ascend because we heal. Yeah. So true and authentic healing is a function of our consciousness body, and it is through the realignment of our spiritual consciousness that effective healing of our body can take place. It's amazing. The functions of the human spiritual ascension and evolution are directly entwined with the process of natural healing and personal well-being. Therefore, if we create the conditions in our lives that are organic to us and spiritually healthy for growing our light body and consciousness, we will naturally evolve and heal all of our multidimensional bodies. Thus, our biological and spiritual immune system will be much stronger and healthier in order to do its job. The organic human genetic code is based on the 12 tree grid manifestation body, and thus, when we align to the knowledge of our original genetic code imprinted on the human biology, we gain access to our consciousness that holds the intelligence of all of our stations of identity in time that can be accessed from our local current incarnation. So when we learn to follow our heart, the center of our soul and spiritual expression, we achieve balance, harmony, and integration with all aspects of ourselves. And we live life in order to maximize human spiritual potential, which includes more authenticity, more love, more connection, and more joy. And when we are strongly rooted in higher purpose and spiritual meaning, we become fully spiritual embodied and actualized in our highest expression and aligned to our ultimate destiny in the ascension timeline. Therefore, contributing to our creative genius to support higher expression for the human collective to manifest a better world together on our chaotic but still ascending planet. In order to embody the true self and inner core essence, two relationships must be made a priority in order to be forged, developed, and remembered into the eternal light source. The two most important relationships that every human being has the responsibility and the right to create for themselves is, number one, our right relationship to self. And number two, our right relationship to God source or the universe. So if we can feel and experience love, reverence, and respect for the divinity that exists inside of ourselves, we will also transmit the same higher love frequency to others around us. We transmit the frequency of love to others in proportion to our ability to hold the frequency of love inside of ourselves. Love is the most essential component in all forms of healing and immunity, whether it is the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual layers that require healing. Friends, this is such a good conversation that I think is so appropriate for right now. I've been really feeling like, we've got so much space in between so many of us, and so many of us have become physically tight and constricted and closed off. You know, there's so many of us, and especially our seniors, our elders, that have gone the better part of a year without receiving a hug. You know, so for us to really, really consciously begin creating and giving and emitting so much more love between us, between all of us, even those of us that are complete strangers. So yeah, like it's necessary for us. And for those people who are very afraid, oh my goodness, I want to hug them. So is there a way, because you know, if whatever your social media circle is, whatever your real life circle is, whatever you can do with this, I feel so compelled over this last day to create a call to action. Or for those of you who might be better at creating calls to action than I am, can we please find ways to create hugging, to create human connection? Can we please put signs on us saying, I am healthy, like there is no fear, can I hug you? Or like, please come and hug me. Like, can we get over our fears of whatever it is and understand, regardless of the garbage and sinister crap that they put in the jabby jab, regardless of all of that, the power of our multidimensional hearts, the power of this ascension process that we're in is far more powerful than anything that the darkness can bring. So can we come into our hearts and truly begin embracing each other? And those of us that we can see and recognize as afraid, can we please soften these people who are afraid? Can we soften them with our love and with our compassion? And not only that, but with our physical touch. Because when we are in that place of love and we gift another with our physical touch, we soften them, we melt them. We melt away their fear instantaneously because we activate their heart. Yeah, okay. I really wanted to say that. So I don't know how I'm going to go about doing this, but I'm going to start hugging strangers if they are open to it. You know, so maybe can we start a thing, my friends? I'm really, really seriously asking you all, can we truly start a thing here? Can we truly start creating compassionate touch, appropriate, loving, compassionate, sovereign touch between us? Can we please begin to melt away the fear of those who are still afraid? Because there's nothing to be afraid of at this point, guys. We win. We win. God wins. Lights wins. We win this. We win this. We win this. Everybody is waking up. Nobody's going back to sleep. Like, we got this. We got this. There's just a bit more time in this, but we got this. This is all going to be a distant memory one day. So if we can start hugging everybody, if we can start softening everyone who is afraid, we will be doing some of the most tremendous work on this planet if we can work to soften people with our loving touch. Okay? So even a loving hand, because guys, okay, this conversation has me feeling so much emotion right now, but we're going to keep moving through it, okay? But hear that this emotion is like, this is soul speaking. And so your hands are an extension of your heart. And our hands have so much healing abilities in them. So even if it is merely holding the hand of another and infusing them with love, because holding their hand will transfer that love into their heart, from your heart through your arms into your hand, into their hand, up their arms into their heart. That is what we do. Another thing that is, if it feels safe and appropriate to do, is simply your hand on their back, on the back of their heart. Because many of us are haunched. We're haunched and we're closed. The front body closes, the heart closes as we carry the weight of the world on the back of our heart and on the back of our body. So if we can lovingly place a hand just on a person's, the back of their heart, also very, 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 very powerful for opening the heart, okay? So instead of only using our voices and our sacred anger to inspire the transfer of information and that form of awakening, I call us to now begin coming into our hearts and supporting the hearts of others, and especially the hearts of those that don't understand, especially the hearts of those who are confused and afraid and petrified and terrified. Let's create love for them. Let's go outside and offer people hugs, Even if they want to wear those masks, whatever, let's offer hugs. Let's offer love. Let's offer human connection and human touch. Get people into your aura. Pull them into your aura, okay? Because there's so much love in us. For those of us who are awake and ascending, we anchor so much love. And our love is, I truly feel more powerful than even our voices right now. So however you truly feel called to participate at this stage of it, amazing. Please participate, whatever that looks like for you. And if what I'm saying is inspiring or resonating within your heart, please listen to your heart and listen to your soul, and you'll know what to do. Okay. Thank you so much for being here with me in this conversation, my friends. Thank you so much. I have so much love for all of you, even if I don't know all of your faces and all of your names. I pray for you. I pray for your family. I pray for your children. I pray for your parents and your elders. I pray for your animals. I pray for you to have the eyes to see and the heart to know, and know your ancientness, and that all of this is temporary. All of this is temporary, and we are moving through this. So may we keep feeling our love over our frustration, over our fear, over our paranoia, over our fatigue, over our exhaustion, over our anger, over all of that. As sacred as all of those things are, let's really, really tap into our love, because our love is going to obliterate everything. Our love is 5D. Our love is like 12D, 17D, but our love is where it's at. Our love is where it's at, and to truly create the most transformation and the most rapid transformation as well, love will do it. Love, we are love. Love, 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 love. Okay, I guess that's the perfect spot for me to complete this episode. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for receiving me in the moment with my own emotions through this conversation, because this is such a sacred conversation that truly just understanding this one conversation to me shifts the whole game, shifts the whole perception of everything that's going on and how we interact with ourselves, with our bodies, with one another. So I love you, friend. I love you in your sovereignty, in your beauty, in your mid-processness, in your dark night of the soul, in the magnificence that you came into this world with, your magnificence that you just were as you came into this world, and that you still are, and that you will always be. So I love you all so much. Please keep drinking so much water. Like, that's a serious request now, because remember, soul consciousness is electromagnetic. So we got to be hydrated so that we are amazing conduits, okay? So I love you so, so much. Have a magnificent rest of your magnificent day, you magnificent soul in your magnificent body. We got a lot of good healing resources coming your way. We've got Instagram lives every Wednesday. There's so much goodness coming your way, guys. Tremendous love to all of you. I'm going to see you in the next episode. Thank you again for being here with me.